Solidarity is the unity that produces or is based on a community of interests, objectives, and standards. No one played a larger role in the collapse of communism in Eastern Europe than a young man from Krakow. During the Nazi occupation of Poland, Karol attended an underground Catholic seminary. By dodging military patrols and taking secret classes in convents, churches, and homes. In time, he graduated, donned clerical robes, and traveled to a small Polish village to serve as priest. Communists, meanwhile, were replacing Nazis as the oppressors of Eastern Europe. But with fearlessness, fortitude, and endurance, Karol performed baptisms, heard confessions, offered Mass, foiled the secret police, and thwarted authorities. The years passed, and by 1978, the village priest had advanced to become the first non-Italian pope in 456 years. John Paul II. On one of his first outings, the new pope heard someone in the crowd shout, "Don't forget the church in silence." That is, the church under communism. John Paul replied, "It's not a church of silence anymore, because it speaks with my voice." John Paul soon returned in triumph to Warsaw, where his plane landed over the protests of Soviet leader Leonid Brezhnev. Oceans of faces met him everywhere, weeping, praying, shouting. Communist leaders in Russia and Poland trembled as they listened to his words. Dearest brothers and sisters, you must be strong with the strength that flows from faith. There is no need to be afraid. Frontiers must be open. Within a year, spontaneous strikes occurred throughout Poland and in Gdansk. Lech Wałęsa stood atop an excavator and announced a strike in the shipyards. Back at the Vatican, John Paul watched, prayed, and spoke to a group of Polish pilgrims in St. Peter's Square. All of us here in Rome are united with our compatriots in Poland, signaling his blessings on the strikers. Within a week, the communists made historic concessions, and on August 31st, 1980, the Gdansk Accords were signed, permitting the first independent union in Eastern Europe. There was no mistaking the role of the Polish Pope. Lech Wałęsa signed the papers using a brightly colored Vatican pen featuring a picture of John Paul II. The Iron Curtain was crumbling. Today we hear the Apostle John tell us about the first Pope, Peter. Peter, like John Paul II, was an average person with his faults and failings, but he rose to new heights as the first leader of the Catholic Church. Jesus entrusted to him the shepherd's role as leader of the flock. John Paul II followed in Peter's footsteps. He stood in solidarity not only with the people of Poland, but with the people of the world. Christianity demands that we stand with the Church and become witnesses of the gospel and all of the obligations to which it speaks. Peter and most of his successors have risen to that challenge. Who are we to say we can't?